What drives someone to leave their homeland and chase new dreams and build a successful career abroad? Today we explore the inspiring journey of a Kenyan nurse who is doing just that. Our guest, Paul Simiyu, is not only a nurse practicing in the NHS in the UK, but is also the managing director of Kenyan Nurse Consultants Limited, helping others follow in his footsteps. The NHS is equally, draining.
That's true.
And I can imagine this other side of you.
So the passion that actually drives me to balance the roles, which is so hard at some point until you get to a point you are exhausted, is I don't want someone else to go what I've gone through. I want people to have opportunities. I want Kenyans to compete globally. I don't want us to compete amongst ourselves. I want us to showcase our potential, our skills globally. If someone outside there is in high school, I think their best shot will be in nursing. If someone is currently a nurse, qualified, or a student nurse, actually their best shot is in the overseas.
Now when you're leaving Kenya to overseas, what is it that you carry from your home country?
I must carry omena, I must carry unga for ugali, I must carry food. I'm from Western.
Unga kisiagi?
Unga kisiagi, not yaduka, not jogo. The jogo one is the one we are chasing.
Hello and welcome to Globe Traction. My name is Pasil Telewa and I hope you enjoy Paul's story of resilience, hope and determination. Oriana was a Paul.
Kamala is
you still remember?
I do.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been in the UK for 5 good years.
Yes.
Yeah. How is the experience when you first set foot there,
At first it wasn't easy, being a foreign country, cold, because home is warm. You have to find a way to adapt. And it's something that I did well to adapt. And for the 5 years, I'll say it's been a fantastic journey.
What season did you go?
I think first time I stepped in the UK was in August 2019.
So around autumn?
Close to, around autumn.
Yeah.
We were preparing for winter.
So the UK is autumn, but the other side is fall.
Yes.
Yeah, you
yes.
get the
Yes,
whatever,
yes.
yeah. So 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah. Did you get in straight to work? Or did you get in and then started looking for work?
The process of going to UK was quite excellent because I got a job while I was still here. I got every document done by the employer while I was still here. So I moved and arrived in the UK and straight to the job. But there is the final exam, which you have to do it physically.
Yes.
The objective structured exam is much more clinical exam, which you just have 3 weeks, 6 weeks to do the exam, you get the pin, you move on with your job. But at first you're going to start as a band 4. So once you pass that exam, you now become band 5, but all of you are nurses.
All of you are nurses?
Yes, so I started working on the first day. I was actually paid the first day I arrived. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's take me through your growing up years, because I understand you're born and bred in Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, you went to Turkana Boys, Lodo Boys?
Yeah, Lodo Boys High School is my former high school, where I joined as a Form 1 student.
Yes.
I schooled there for 2 years until when I got some ailment and I did not manage to continue.
Yeah, you told me about the surgery.
Yes.
What was the cause of that surgery?
I think I developed some conditions which was at that time diagnosed to be ulcerative colitis, which I had to undergo a surgery for the correction to be done. And that happened, and for surgery it took time to heal. It took like 6 months. So by the time I went back to Lodo Boys, my slot had already been taken. So I went back home.
Your Form 2 slot had been taken away? Yeah.
So I had to go back home to Kitale with everything I had carried. Then Karango, I was prepared by my grandmom. I had to carry it back home.
Yeah.
So
you're going home. What are you going to do home? You need to be at school.
I never had an idea because the school I'm supposed to go in, my slot has been taken up.
Yeah.
So what I did, I just decided to come back home. Unfortunately, there was no home. because my
to
mom
hear
had died just 2 years before that period.
Okay.
And I was staying with my grandmom, who had also passed away. Thank you so much. Yeah. Who had also passed away. So I went to a homestead that had no one with my box. That was on Tuesday. And on Wednesday,
You remember
I
the day?
walked. I remember the time and the date. And on the next day, I walked to a nearby school.
What was your nearby school?
My nearby school at that time, remember, Kibaki had not actually done the schooling the way he did his time. The schools were few.
Yes.
So our neighboring school was Maliki. It wasn't a high school, it was actually a secondary school. It was
Maliki
a mixed school.
Secondary School.
It was a mixed school at that time. And it was day school and sometimes also boarding for those who were coming from far. So I walked in and I just said, I'm here, I'm looking for an interview to join you guys. And lucky enough, it was the same day they were doing the interview for Form 2.
Okay, you are lucky.
So I went in.
Yes.
I remember those days they gave us 4 exams. They gave us chemistry.
4 subjects.
4 subjects.
Yeah.
Gave us chemistry, mathematics, English, and
Kiswahili.
my favorite subjects. So we were competing for the slots. The first exam was Kiswahili. I got 100. Shock to everyone. Second one was English. That has been my struggle for some time.
Yes.
That one I got somewhere 98.
Yes.
And then chemistry 100.
Chemistry
Maths,
100. Math 100.
Actually, before the exam results were assembled,
Yes.
I was calling the principal's office. That is when the principal wanted to know, who is this guy?
This guy got brains. We need to retain him here.
And I was offered to stay, not to go home, because when he heard my story, I had no home.
Oh, who told him your story?
Yes, because when he called me in, he wanted to know my background.
Oh, okay.
Did
So
I
you told
cheat?
him, yeah.
How did I score such? And that's when he knew that, yes, I have a homestead, but there is no home. Because my mom had died, my grandmom had died. So what he decided, and God bless him, he told me, don't worry about the school fees.
Wow, that is an angel.
You have a hostel,
Yeah.
and in the same staff room, a relative appeared. One distant relative just came from nowhere. I know this guy. I know where he comes from. She went around, did shopping, and that is how I started my school.
Cheers to having, Samaritans come in.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, so you got a slot in a different school.
I got a slot in a different school. Yes, it was a lower school,
Yeah.
but I never looked at that. For me, I was determined to give my best in every subject. So
what
my
is
life
going on through your mind? Because your mother is no more,
grandmom is no more.
Your grandma is no more.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you're taken in by the school administration, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is going on through your mind?
At that point, I felt bad that I've lost because I had fallen in love with Lodwar Boys High School. I liked the place, I liked the people, and now I have no more space. I agonized with that for some time until when I accepted. I think at one point there was a pastor who came to preach, and he said, if you are here and you are looking forward to go somewhere else in the name of a school transfer, God is transferring your grades to that school. And that hit me hard. So you mean if I'm in Maliki and I'm still holding on Lodwar Boys High School, my grades are in Lodwar Boys High School, I went to pray and I told God, transfer all my grades to this place. And I accepted that place. I enjoyed the life. I enjoyed the Kideri. I enjoyed the ugali that was being prepared in the afternoon.
What did you score in high school?
In high school, I got an A.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know what you wanted to become?
At first, I was majorly into politics. I wanted to do political science. At that time.
The University of Nairobi?
Obviously, at that time, University of Nairobi was the only university that everyone wanted to go to. However, I looked at my family, where I come from. My mom has died, my grandmom has died. I'm the first one.
So that means
basically,
are
first of all, I have to
breadwinner.
survive.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to get a distant relative in Nairobi. I traveled all the way from Kitale to Nairobi just to consult which course should I join. And I gave the person the parameters. I want a course that I can easily get a job after graduation.
Yes.
I want a course that actually I can be paid while I'm studying. I want a course that it can take me wherever I want. And as I tell you, everything that I prayed for at that time has happened.
So how did it go? Gotten some information. Shall we just call them a mentor or a guide
I think
for you? Yeah.
It's whenever you have someone above you who is God guiding you, He places destiny helpers. I just came to notice that the guy was actually doing not the same course he directed me into. He was doing computer science. But when I asked him and gave him all what I wanted to achieve, he told me, yes, your passion is in political science. But if you are here to survive, go do nothing.
Or if you are here to achieve what you've told me you want to achieve, do nothing.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
If you miss medicine, then we're going to help you select courses. So I went to Nairobi. Also, at that time, we were traveling all the way from the villages to Nairobi University for selection. You remember it was called JAB?
Yes.
Joint Admission Board Selection.
Yes, the government
The government-sponsored
yes.
program.
Yeah.
So I traveled all the way from the village to Nairobi University. The university I've always desired. I think that's the only time I stepped in Nairobi University. And he helped me select. We were given a chance to have 3 options. The first one I selected medicine. The second one was medicine. The third one was nursing now. So when the selection was released, I noticed I had not been placed in Nairobi University, neither Moi University. Just a university that was just upcoming. Actually, just the previous year, it was a constituent college.
Yes.
It was just confirmed to be now a university.
Yeah.
The same year we were selected in. And that is when I was actually selected to join Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology to pursue nursing. We were the first ever government-sponsored students in that
Which year was that?
That was in 2010.
2010?
Yes.
Yeah. So this village boy from Kitale got to, to the first high school, Mr. Slot after they just went through surgery.
It's gone.
And then went to another, day school.
Day school.
Day school, because
Yes.
you said it was
Then
still a secondary
became
school.
accommodated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then got an A. And then you missed the University of Nairobi.
I miss the University of Nairobi.
And then
I miss
you
medicine.
are called to, but to a village university
We
that
used to
is
call it
very close to you.
We used to call it
home.
Mustuni.
Mustuni.
Yeah.
That is very close to your home.
Yes.
How did that make you feel, honestly?
At first I was disappointed because as a young boy, I had a dream to be in the University of Nairobi. And now I'm going to a university that is just in Kakamega. It was just recently a constituent college. It was actually called Weko the previous year.
It was a constituent college.
It was called Weko. And now it has converted to become a Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology University. I rejected the university. Funny enough, I'll tell you that I wrote a letter to the VC of Moi University to transfer from Masinde Muliro University to Moi University.
Yeah.
I wrote another letter and CC'd to the VC of Masinde Muliro University. At that time, the transfer was not possible. You were to write letters and you were to directly write to the VC.
Yes.
So my request was rejected.
Wow.
I felt disillusion again, and I now decided that I'm not going to pursue nursing again. I wanted now to change again to another course, which I did actually for 2 years. Remember, trimester has 3 months, and I changed to another course for 2 months. It was a new course it was optometry. And I think I fell in love with it. When I joined it, I rejected again nursing and joined optometry because this is not my place. So after 2 months, I was calling the dean. At that time, it was Professor Kot. He's a military guy, you know that. Mm-hmm. We sat down and he talked to me. He told me everything about nursing. He had actually been in the military and retired.
Yes.
And he'd gone to US, he'd gone to UK.
Yes.
That's because of nursing.
Yes.
He'd gone to every country he desired. And that's when he told me, you either going to UK or you're going to optometry. He gave me two options. I'm going to UK through nursing, or I'm going to optometry. And if I'm going to optometry, it means I'm going to pay as a self-sponsored student. And he gave me the fee.
And here you are, you don't have money.
I don't have. Remember at that time.
So you don't have an option.
I don't have an option.
Yeah.
So I had to humble myself. I went back. I was a class rep for optometry group.
Yeah.
I had to drop everything. I went back to nursing. But remember, we are 1 month to an end of a trimester. I had to struggle.
To
1
catch up.
month to
Because
catch
you
up
need to sit your
everything.
exams.
Books are heavy volumes. So within 1 month, I turned around tables. The guy, the way he talked to me, it's like he feels some extreme hope in me. So when the results for the first trimester came out, I was actually number 18. I felt bad because I've always been number 1, and now I'm here, number 18. We moved into the next trimester. I came to number 5.
So long story short,
yes, please.
Because I think your story is so juicy, we may take the whole day talking about it. You're now done with you've now graduated with your Bachelor of Science.
Yes, please.
How is it called? Bachelor of Science in Nursing?
It's Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Yes.
Yes.
Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Masinda Muliro University.
Yes, please.
How does it go?
It's promising and disastrous at the same time. Promising in such a way that back home, everyone calls you daktari.
Na daktari wako na pesa.
Wako na pesa.
Yes.
Remember, you are the first one. Everyone is looking up to you. All your families. And when you speak about family, it's a whole community. And now, I'm here with my degree. Yes, I did internship for 1 year in Kitale. That time it was called...
At the hospital in Kitale?
It was actually, we were now commencing the county governments. And it was changed to Kitale Teaching and Referral Hospital. But previously it used to be called District Hospital.
Yes.
That's where I did my internship. We were paid handsomely, some little good money. But after that, there was no job. That's when it became disastrous. I even did regret at one point doing nothing. Because you have a good name outside there, but inside you don't have money, you don't have job. Everywhere you go, people will tell you, we're no longer recruiting, we're not recruiting.
How long did your internship last?
I actually tamaked for some few months, like 2 months. And that is when I got a chance to teach, not to work in a hospital, to teach in Orto Mission Hospital. I think it was like a mission to me. And that became my cornerstone of my practice. I stayed in Ortum for 2 months. That month, I was made head of department academics. With head of department academics, it means I'm coordinating the exams.
Yes.
So we were calling to NCK, that is Nursing Council of Kenya, the highest body in Kenya for nurses, to mark the exam. And that's how I got friends who actually told me, you're so good.
Yes.
Why don't you come to Karen Hospital? And it's when I got a chance to teach at the Karen Hospital Medical Training College until when I relocated to the UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a boy from the village, lucky to get an internship.
And now he's in Nairobi.
Yes. And to make things even more juicer in Karen Hospital, because also there is the perception that comes with the name. And how did you get wind of going to the UK now?
So while at Karen Hospital,
previously,
remember, I was one person who was like, I'm not going to go outside. Yes, Professor Okoth told me about UK, about overseas, but I want to work here. But the salary we were getting, it was enough, yes, but not to an extent that when you have a disaster, if one of your relatives falls sick and you try to support them, it destabilizes your whole budget. So I got destabilized like once, twice, and
thrice.
I'm like,
so it became a cycle.
No, this is not going to be my life. I think I can be better. I can do better things. And that's when I started now thinking of getting opportunities abroad. And I now had to research. And everyone you ask, how do you go to abroad? They'll always tell you,
People
go
don't
online.
tell you.
Go online.
So, people don't tell you.
Yes, people don't tell you.
Yeah.
They just tell you, go online. And I really felt frustrated. I was so frustrated to such a point that I've now used it as a mission to give back to my fellow nurses. All those frustrations I went through, I've converted them into resources. So the process now I've understood from online how to go to UK. You have to do this exam. You have to ensure you register with this body. You have to ensure that you have been approved by Nursing Council of Kenya. Everything done. But now you have to be able to pass English exam.
Yes.
And my friend, remember, English has always been my disaster. I remember at one point in high school, I got 0-1 in conversation. Now, this is the only bridge I have. I have everything done. So what is remaining is for me to pass English exam. So I had to stay in a room every day after work to understand what is this international English exam.
Yes.
I did the first time, I failed terribly. I'm supposed to get 7.5, I got 5.5. I did 5 times. 5 times. Every time you are failing.
Yes.
And actually, I always tell people I never passed. I never. The UK lowered the score for me. And that is how I managed to now.
How?
Because the required score was, IELTS you are to get listening 7, reading 7, writing 7 score out of 9. And speaking 7. Good at speaking, good at listening, good at writing. But I'm still being tormented by composition. Writing, I'm always getting 4, 3. So I got 6.5. So that year, the Nursing Midwifery Council of UK lowered the score for writing to 6.5. And that is how I qualified.
Now, Paul, you're not just a nurse, working for the NHS.
Yes.
You're also a managing director of Kenyan Nurse Consultants.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's true.
How do you even, differentiate, separate your roles? Because the NHS is equally, draining.
That's true.
And I can imagine this other side of you.
So the passion that actually drives me to balance the roles, which is so hard at some point until you get to a point you are exhausted, is I don't want someone else to go what I've gone through. I want people to have opportunities. I want Kenyans to compete globally. I don't want us to compete amongst ourselves. I want us to showcase our potential, our skills globally. I remember when at first I started supporting nurses to relocate to UK, myself, I had to teach them the IELTS, that I failed, that I'm poor at writing.
Now you're becoming the teacher.
Yes, now I've become the teacher.
Yes.
They scored higher scores than mine. I think that at that point, there's a nurse who got even 8.5 out of 9 out of my teaching. So that has given me a privilege to support nurses so that they are able to relocate to UK. And it's been a journey that is so inspirational because I've seen thousands of nurses arrive in the UK. And in the same hospital I'm working in, we have close to 70,000 nurses, 70 nurses who have come all the way from Kenya.
There's the thing about Kenya and UK partnership in nurses. I'm sure it didn't happen during your time, but you're aware it's happened in the recent past. Are you?
Yeah, I was there. I was in the UK at that time.
Does that scare you when you look at the amount of talent that is going to the UK, for instance?
At first, when we were growing up, we had this notion that there is brain drain. Nowadays, with our generation, there's no brain drain. There's brain gain in such a way that a nurse will go to UK, know that they are running from home. They are going to get resources for home, for our people.
Yeah.
So they are going to earn close to 500,000 per month. They are going to send home every month. Like recently while I was in Westlands, I was with a nurse. We are working in UK.
Yeah.
And she's like, she sent in 1 year 40,000 pounds.
40,000 pounds is a good
home
money.
in 1 year.
Yeah.
some of us who are entrepreneur, we've gone beyond just what we are sending home. We've now created resources. Like me, I've created Kenyan Nurse Consultant Limited, whose purpose is to support nurses who are interested to go to any country, not for recruitment purpose, but for consultation, so that people do not get scammed. Yeah. For information, that's why we've really measured so much. And it's the reason why we are working hard every day to pass information, so that people do not get scammed, so that people do not waste their time, so that people do not waste their money. People are able to follow an easy process. And we've been blessed with close to 100 staffs. Remember, I went alone. I've supported close to 30,000 nurses. We are speaking about 30,000.
Yeah, let's speak a little bit about the NHS. The NHS has had a problem over the past 2 years. You know, I don't know if it's still the same thing, but the queues have been very long for patients to just wait to get service from hospitals. Has that changed? Has that improved? And the fact that you guys have a new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, what are the threats, including, you know, with respect to people of your, you know, of your career, whatever, thinking of going to the UK?
So NHS is one of the best, it's not even one of, it's the best healthcare system globally. Everyone is always referencing back to NHS.
You can't
and as the best system being offered freely, it means at some point it gets congested.
Yes.
And that's why you hear complaints about the queues, about accessing GPs, having appointments getting prolonged. It's normal, especially in such kind of a setup where you have the best and it's free. So it means everyone is looking forward to access. However, as nurses working in the NHS, we work across the clock to ensure that the queue is reduced. And as we speak, it's not that bad like after COVID. It's really gone down a little bit. And I'm sure the government is working also around the clock to ensure that the queues are reduced. In terms of the government support, the current Prime Minister is actually supportive of the NHS. He's from Labour. And you know, Labour is pro-Labour. And we feel safe currently under.
Is it different from, you know?
Yeah, it's not toxic like before, you know, as a foreign person in a foreign country.
As an immigrant.
Yes, and the government is so aggressively talking against immigration, you feel unsafe.
I know.
But with the current government, it's much more soft, it's much more friendly, it's much more actually safe. You feel psychologically safe. And we aren't actually feeling the same way we were feeling before.
Tell me about the experience when you're now living Kenya, now that you've come for this particular, you know, activity. Wherever you go, what is it that is your must carry in your bag? I'm very interested to know.
Obviously, I must carry my 2 national ID. 2 national IDs? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking
it's
about
pride.
Food. Uko serious?
Yes. I have to carry my 2 national ID.
Ugali?
1. Not food, of course. Food I'll get everywhere I go. If I go to Nyanza, I have to eat fish. If I go to Coast, I have to get the Coast food. But the reason why I carry those 2 national IDs, the identity I carry, the pride I have as a Kenyan.
Now when you're living
overseas.
now when you're leaving Kenya to overseas, what is it that you carry from your home country?
I must carry omena, I must carry unga for ugali. I must carry food. I'm from Western.
Unga kisiagi?
Unga ya kisiagi, not yaduka, not jogo. The jogo one is the one we are chasing. So I must carry omena. I must carry unga ya ugali.
Yeah. Kukua kwa your profession for that long, challenges gani umepitia? Kukua honest, because watu usually wanaona the rosy parts, but there must be that other side that people don't really talk about much.
Yeah, nursing is beautiful, but it's also actually depressing at some point. Depressing in such a manner that, for example, if you're working in Kenya, you realize that financially you will never be stable, likely. When you now move to UK, it's far country, foreign, you feel homesick. You feel the weather might not be conducive. So it might not be that rosy. That those transitional challenges that you might face, that some will acclimatize, some might not acclimatize at all. Like myself, while I'm in the UK, there's nowhere I'll buy tea there's no way I'll buy coffee because I've never acclimatized to the taste.
Really?
I have to prepare my own tea. I have to prepare my own coffee.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
It's that serious?
It's that serious. So for me, it's that. Other people are other items. So there's one thing you will never acclimatize.
Let's talk about someone that is looking forward to take their career to that other side of the world. What is it that you have to
Not
tell
just
them?
to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
If someone outside there is in high school, I think their best shot will be in nursing. If someone is currently a nurse, qualified, or a student nurse, actually their best shot is in the overseas. Yes.
I hope you enjoyed the show today, and I hope you learned something from Paul's story, giving us a glimpse of what it is to come from Trans Nzoia to the globe. Many thanks for watching the show, and make sure you join me again next Sunday at 11 p.m. East African time only on KTN. And if you have a story you'd like to share with me, please don't hesitate. Write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at globetraction. You can also tap that follow button to me on my social media platforms at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube for more behind the scenes and many other amazing stories. But until then, I hope to see you again soon, same time, same place. Ciao, ciao.